Hello, comic book guys and gals, and welcome to Comic Mag Musings. This handsome devil is your host, Bill Miller. Today, I'm super excited because we are going to take a look at not a comic book, but some EC portfolio prints that I got a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, off of Electronic Bay. So, without further ado, let's take a look at these prints. I've already taken the liberty of opening the box because it looked like it was going to take a while. But this is the box that they came in. And then they were in this envelope. And so now we have the prints themselves in their own envelope, which is in really good shape. Got some like sun fading up here, but I mean, that's fine. I don't care about the envelope. But these were produced by Russ Cochran. I think these were probably produced in the very early 80s. He became really good friends of Bill Gaines, and Russ Cochran was originally like a physics professor, and Bill Gaines was going to school to become a chemistry teacher prior to taking over his father's company. And so I think they had some things in common, in addition to Russ Cochran, who just passed away a few months ago, I believe. In addition to him being an EC Fan Addicts Club member growing up as a boy in Missouri. But he would pay yearly or annual visits to Bill Gaines in New York for some conference or something like that. And while he was there for the teaching conference, he would hang out with Bill Gaines, and they became good friends. And Russ Cochran started out printing these EC portfolios, in most cases from the original artwork. And then ultimately he worked with Gemstone, Gladstone to produce EC comic book reprints. He produced black and white hardcover volumes, and he started selling Bill Gaines' original artwork as well, I think in the late 70s, early 80s, before I think it went to Sotheby's after some point in time. So, Crime SuspenStories. I think there's a total of 27. Yeah, so the 27 covers contained in this envelope represent some of the finest artwork done for EC Comics. These are the same covers used in the complete Crime SuspenStories, except that they are trimmed to include the entire cover. The artwork by EC greats Johnny Craig, Jack Kamen, and George Evans was colored especially for this series by the original EC color artist, Miss Marie Severin. This is copyrighted 1984. Russ Cochran, publisher, from West Plains, Missouri. All right, so let's take these guys out, take a look at them. Oh, they are in really good condition. Let's sheathe this blade. So, Crime SuspenStories number 1. Really, really high grade condition on these rascals. And then on the other side, we have this, whatever this is. Look for this seal, conforms to the Comics Code. Authorized ACMP. So this was the code prior to the Comics Code Authority. On every comic magazine you buy, this seal is used by the Association of Comics Magazine Publishers, which believes in decency and good taste. The association has been joined by leading magazine distributors, wholesalers, printers, and engravers serving the industry. The association does not believe in censorship. It believes in self-regulation. If you want the best comic magazines, always look for the association seal on the front cover. It is your guarantee of quality and entertainment. Only the best comics carry the seal. President of the Association of Comics Magazine Publishers, Leverett S. Gleason. Lev Gleason obviously produced Crime Does Not Pay. What else? William Gaines, Educational Comics. So this was prior to the New Trend Comics for EC. And the following is a complete list of titles, all of which bear the code seal of the Association of Comics Magazine Publishers. Tales from the Crypt, Two-Fisted Tales, The Vault of Horror, Weird Science, Weird Fantasy, Crime Suspense Stories. So pretty neat. So this is Crime Suspense Stories number 1. It's a beauty. Gotta figure this out. I don't want to damage anything. And here we have number 2. And it carries the same authorized ACMP seal data on the inside as the first one did. This is a Johnny Craig cover. It says, please don't hit me. You're making a mistake. I'm a dead ringer for the guy you're after. But he's dead. I killed him. And then this guy's thinking, ha, you thought you killed me. I'll let those punks knock you off in my place, pal. Then I'll step in and blast them. Wonderful. Crime Suspense Stories number 3. Just a beaut. So I don't have any crime suspense comics. I don't really have any EC comics, with the exception of some coverless and partial cover war comics. And I do have most of the issues reprinted through the Gladstone and Gemstone reprints. This is number 4. I think that's Johnny Craig as well, right? Sure is. And these are buttes. So if I ever did get any, might be neat to display them with the portfolio print. Number 5. Johnny Craig again. Number 6. This is a somewhat better known one. Can't really call it a hanging cover, but I guess this would be a hanging victim cover. And obviously his broken neck is pretty prominent. It's Johnny Craig, the cover art. And if we've got 27 of these, I better quicken the pace. Number 7. Johnny Craig again. What are the chances that that individual is going to chop down some firewood for the wintertime? I'm going to say not very good. Now, if you have any of the original ECs that go with these prints, please send them my way. Number 8, Johnny Craig. If you do want to check out some beautiful original EC issues, check out Reaper Tate 728's channel. He's got quite a few. This is number 9, Johnny Craig. Oh, okay. On the back of this guy, we have the EC Artist of the Issue, Johnny Craig. And EC would do that from time to time, where other publishers would oftentimes not even credit the artist. EC would highlight their artists, and instead of having a house style, they encouraged each artist to develop their own style, and they would tailor the stories to the strengths of the different artists. But I'm not going to read that guy yet. I should have looked. There are other ones on the back too. Otherwise, this is going to be a half-an-hour video. Crime Suspense Stories number 10. It's Johnny Craig art. And the back of this one highlights Al Feldstein, who, aside from doing art, as time wore on, he did less and less art, and he took over the writing and editing duties for the crime and all the horror magazines. He was instrumental. He was probably the biggest reason for EC's early success, in my opinion, even more than Bill Gaines. Crime Suspense number 11. Johnny Craig on the cover again. And on the inside, we have the Ghoul Lunatics, the Vault Keeper, the Crypt Keeper, and the Old Witch. So that would have been the inside of the original cover. This is Johnny Craig number 12. I don't think we're hunting deer. Number 13, Johnny Craig. And on the inside, we have the Ghoul Lunatics looking at the weird science and weird fantasy comic books, which about broke even for EC. They were more a labor of love for Bill Gaines and Al Feldstein, who both love science fiction. Bill Gaines probably a little bit more. And so as long as they didn't lose too much money, they kept producing. It's weird science, weird fantasy, and then I think weird fantasy science. Or weird science fantasy, one of those two. Number 14, Johnny Craig. On the inside, we see what looks to be an ad for Mad #1 comic book, which was launched by Kurtzman. Johnny Craig, this is number 15. And another Mad advertisement on the inside of that. This is a very famous cover, number 16, by Johnny Craig. That's how I look when I'm hangry. Haven't eaten lunch yet. Another Mad advertisement on the inside of the front cover, or on the inside of this reprint of the front cover. Another very famous one. This is Suicide cover, number 17, also by Johnny Craig. On the inside, we spotlight Al Williamson. Number 18. These are absolutely lovely. Very happy to have these rascals. And then another Mad advertisement on the inside. Well, this is going to be a long video. Apologize for that. Number 19. Underwater cover. She's like, Marco. Not very good. And Mad on the inside. This is Al Feldstein, the cover. It was often criticized for his artwork being a little too stiff, but I think it was made great covers for horror comics. This one, very, very infamous. Number 20 by Johnny Craig. This is probably the most famous hanging cover. Obviously shows a broken neck. getting this guy in a mid-grade set you way back. And Mad on the inside. So very famous or infamous, however you want to put it. Number 21, Johnny Craig again. Just beauties. And the EC Fan Addict Club advertisement on the inside. So very cool. And probably the most famous, infamous cover in all of the EC. Number 22, a Johnny Craig cover. And this is one of the covers highlighted during questioning of the Estes Kefauver trials when Bill Gaines testified before Congress. And they had a back and forth over this cover in particular. And there's an EC Fan Addict advertisement in here as well. I guess originally it was even more graphic. Originally, prior to its original publication, and Bill Gaines kind of had it touched up a little bit. Number 23. This is a George Evans cover. On the inside, we had a advertisement for Panic, which was kind of like a, what's another humor publication, kind of a Mad knockoff comic book for EC. I think Feldstein produced Panic. All right. Number 24, George Evans cover. And a Panic advertisement on the inside. Number 25. This is Jack Kamen. These are in like never before looked at type shape. These are incredible condition. You could tell that we're getting toward the end of the run. So on the inside, are you a red dupe? They're putting in a lot of anti-censorship messages because they see the writing on the walls with Frederick Wortham and the congressional inquiry into the inappropriate content in comic magazines and their influence on juvenile delinquency. Crime Suspense number 26. With Jack Kamen. I think the writing was on the wall at this point. And there's a reach the editors cutout coupon there. Pretty cool. And lastly, we have number 27, another Cayman cover. And in memoriam, this magazine dies with this issue. So very unfortunate, but this is the loss of all the new trend lines, the crime and horror comics, and the beginning of the new direction lines like piracy, MD, psychoanalysis, impact, extra, Aces High. Which, even though those abided by the Comics Code Authority, I think that EC was blackballed and they were just returned wholesale by the distributors without even being, without even having the opportunity of having been sold. So it was at that point, just to kind of finish up this little history lesson, it was at that point that they tried, I think, a couple picto-fiction magazine-sized titles that were in black, had some black and white art, but very text-heavy, and that the Mad comic book went to a magazine-sized edition with magazine content, thereby avoiding the necessitation of the Comics Code Authority seal. So, and the 3D, or I think they're like picto illustrations or something like that, those titles only lasted, I think, a few issues, and Mad is the only one that kind of survived. So that's it. I enjoyed showing them to you. I certainly hope you enjoyed seeing those beautiful Crime Suspense Story EC covers. If you did, I would encourage you to subscribe and ring the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted as soon as I make new videos. Thumbs up and comments are always appreciated. Until next time, remember, we're taking over the world one comic book at a time.